Bread and butter is really about sussing out regular and advanced use cases for AI. So since data safety tends to be a choke point for AI in business, strategies for amber data, so the stuff that's between, yes, you may absolutely put it into an AI chat, or no, you absolutely may not. Anything in between, we need to do some sort of masking if it's for a business. Just so that we can get the most out of the chatbot safely. I'm sure you've all heard of concerns of over-reliance in AI use. So what we want in policies, we want something that reflects when people should step away from AI and not just when they should use AI. In terms of trustworthy data, it's necessarily to identify when outputs are biased and could reflect poorly on an organization's motivations if they are client-facing communications. So these are all kind of like the daily use of AI things to be looking out for. And then we have more bigger picture strategies and scaling using AI for these types of organizations. So navigating access and compliance. Our advanced training is going to center around how to use AI for this big picture. So we're researching the new EU AI regulations, and in the USA, the National Institute for Standards and Technology's recommendations to be able to give better compliance advice. But we're not lawyers. It's not legal advice. We're not going to call it that. Many nonprofits and certainly people working for them are really concerned about negative environmental impact of data centers. So we want to demystify those dangers and also create incentives to use them more energy efficiently. Finally, we want to ensure that in its final view, the AI policy can accurately reflect the goals of mission-driven organizations. So that's really where the align and align IQ comes up for us. Like, it's kind of the center of our mission. So recent reports are showing that 95% of AI business projects fail. This is from a very recent MIT study that came out in the last week. So we don't want you to be part of the 95%. The difference is starting with policies and clear practices before chasing shiny tools. Like when I was teaching students how to write college essays at my last job, one of my favorite sayings was, well begun is half done. So it's like you just need really good preparation. In our AI governance quick start, we're going to be helping organizations develop policies like these to create the strongest possible outcomes with AI use, as well as using our data science background to determine feasibility. We need people to know that not everything can actually be done with AI. And if this isn't applicable to your situation, we would ask you to think of someone in the social impact sector whose organization would benefit from using AI, but doesn't really know where to start, or has started and they're feeling like the 95%. They're knee deep in a sunken cost, and they don't know why AI is not working for them. With webinars, especially like free webinars, we're trying to just kind of give an impression of who we are and what we think about the material that we're handling, and just give general advice of things that people that maybe like if an organization has like a communications department or like a compliance department or something like that, they're not even going to need to think of this kind of thing. But we want to work with smaller organizations who often might only have like 10 employees, and they're really all just contributing towards making the world a better place. And they're not thinking as much as some of these things that people in other companies would know fundamentally.
Google is in trouble because if you are just looking for some information, Google is no longer the best way to do it. because these chatbots are connected to the internet. So they will run the Google search and then they will summarize in the same way that they're now doing it.
Yeah.
So basically they had to come up with something to keep some traffic on google.com. And so that's why they're doing it.
It doesn't mean that ChatGPT is going to provide better results for you. It just means that like more people are interested in like the simplicity of like getting a precise answer back, you know, in some cases, even if that precise answer is not actually accurate. There are ways to turn that off in Google so
Automatic
that
AI,
that doesn't
the AI overview.
And I do think it's better. So if I'm looking for like a bunch of different resources, like if I want to know like which, you know, which news organizations have posted something about like the EU AI Act, then I'm probably still going to use Google because
Yeah.
because ChatGPT is only going to be really good at that in its research mode or whatever they're calling it now. They might have a different name, like the pro mode, which is just like super high energy sucking, and you know, it'll come out with things and then it'll only give me like 3 choices and I'm never going to know, are those like the 3 best resources?
So basically, if you use one of these AI chatbots, and you know, it could be Google's Gemini chatbot, it could be the Copilot, it could be ChatGPT, or a Claude is another really popular one. All of these, what they're really good at when they're connected to the internet is running a search, finding, basically extracting the part of the information that's useful to you and just giving you that. So that's what they're really good at. So for example, with the dog that we saw earlier, you know, if she's like, if I don't know, if we're like worried about something with the dog and we do a Google search, a lot of times what comes up is some sort of website that's just sort of, I don't know, it's not that good. And it's a lot of repeating paragraphs in different ways. And so their search engine optimization might be really high on what to do with your dog having a certain reaction, but it's not actually that useful and it takes a long
Yeah, you
time.
have to like sift through a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And so this is to some extent the popularity of these systems for that purpose. A lot of these websites that are kind of, you know, that they're not really that much use per word almost. Setting healthy boundaries. And this is something that is not, this is still kind of an open question of, you know, this is a tool, but in the same way that like, you know, a cell phone is a tool that people don't really always have healthy boundaries with. Um,
Why are
like,
you looking at me like that?
no, not you. Technology that you know, there are you know, there are some in the same way that like gambling for some people is not safe. There is a little bit of like a need to kind of understand if this is something that could be a bad, you know, for a particular person. Um, and so I'm not going to always say that AI is the way to go. I think that it depends on the person, but I think it also depends on the task. And at work in particular, I do think that it can be extremely helpful when used as an assistant.
And also with like pretty rigorous standards of when you would use it and when you wouldn't use it.